5 years had passed since the bloody battle between Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger. The nightmare had finally ended. Or so they thought. Will Rollins and Laurie Campbell, the survivors of that horrific night, returned to Crystal Lake. They sought closure, a way to bury the ghosts of their past. But some wounds never truly heal. The once peaceful lake shimmered under the afternoon sun. A deceptive tranquility hung in the air. As Will and Laurie approached the familiar cabins, a cold dread crept up their spines. The silence was unnerving, broken only by the rustling of leaves. They felt it then, a presence, watching them. Suddenly Jason emerged from the trees, his machete glinting in the sunlight. He was a hulking figure of rage and vengeance. Laurie screamed as Jason charged, his heavy footsteps shaking the ground. Will tried to fight back, but it was futile. Jason was relentless, a force of nature fueled by hate. Jason raised his machete, ending their lives. He dragged their lifeless bodies back into the darkness of the woods. Victory was his, but something else stirred within him. A voice whispered from the depths of his tormented soul. Jason stumbled through the woods, his mind a whirlwind of confusion. He saw flashes of his past, of his mother Pamela and the drowning boy he once was, and then, a new face invaded his thoughts. Freddy Krueger, the Springwood slasher, grinned wickedly at him. Jason found himself in a strange, twisted version of his childhood home. The walls were lined with images of his victims. Freddy sat in a rocking chair, his laughter echoing through the house. "Welcome to my world, big guy," Freddy sneered. Freddy explained his predicament. He was trapped, imprisoned within Jason's mind. But Freddy had a plan, a way to escape and regain his power. He needed Jason's help. He needed the Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead. Pamela appeared beside Freddy, her voice a haunting whisper. "Help him, Jason," she urged. "Become whole again, a real boy." Jason hesitated, his mind clouded with their words. The promise of escape, of becoming something more than a monster, was too tempting to resist. "The book lies in your old home," Freddy hissed, his voice dripping with malice. "Find it, Jason. Bring it to me and I will set you free." Freddy knew the power the Necronomicon possessed. It was the key to escaping Jason's mind and unleashing his full potential. Jason, driven by Freddy's promises and his mother's pleas, set off towards his old home. The Voorhees house stood on the outskirts of Crystal Lake, a dilapidated monument to death and despair. It was there, buried beneath years of decay and darkness, that the Necronomicon lay hidden. Meanwhile, Freddy reveled in his manipulation of Jason. He had found the perfect pawn, a mindless killing machine that he could control. With the Necronomicon, Freddy would be unstoppable. He would have his revenge on the living and the dead. Jason, his mind consumed by the whispers of Freddy and Pamela, reached the Voorhees house. He could sense the book's power calling to him, urging him closer. He would claim the Necronomicon and fulfill his destiny. Ash Williams, the chainsaw-handed, boomstick-wielding hero from another dimension, had finally earned a vacation. He decided to treat himself to some peace and quiet at a lakeside cabin. He pulled into the parking lot of the new Crystal Lake S-Mart, eager to stock up on snacks and beer, but his vacation was about to be cut short. As Ash strolled down the aisles, he noticed the locals whispering nervously. There was a palpable tension in the air, a sense of dread hanging over the town. Ash, with his years of experience battling deadites, recognized the signs. Something was wrong. His suspicions were confirmed when he stumbled upon a grisly scene in the back aisle. A young couple lay dead, their bodies mangled beyond recognition. Ash saw the murder weapon, a rusty machete discarded nearby. He knew who the culprit was. Jason Voorhees was back. "Well, that's just great," Ash muttered to himself, hefting his boomstick. "Just what I need, another psycho with mommy issues." But this time, something felt different. There was another presence, a darker and more sinister force at work. Hey there, horror fans. You ever wonder what would have happened if Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, and Ash Williams faced off in the ultimate horror showdown? Well, you're in luck. Today we're diving into Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, a 6-issue comic book series that takes the terror to a whole new level. Released between November 2007 and March 2008, this epic crossover was published by Wildstorm and Dynamite Entertainment. And here's a cool tidbit. The story is based on the original treatment for Freddy vs. Jason 2 by Jeff Katz. So, if you loved Freddy vs. Jason, this is the sequel you never knew you needed. The comic book series was crafted by the talented writer James Kuhorik and brought to life by the illustrator Jason Craig. It picks up right where Freddy vs. Jason left off, weaving in characters from the Evil Dead trilogy. Yep, that's right, Ash Williams from Evil Dead is thrown into the mix. Imagine this: Freddy, the dream-stalking nightmare, Jason, the unstoppable killing machine, and Ash, the chainsaw-wielding badass, all colliding in a battle for supremacy. The story is packed with blood, gore, and all the macabre mayhem you'd expect. Now, after the box office success of Freddy vs. Jason in 2003, fans were hungry for more. And with that cliffhanger ending, who wouldn't be? Plans were in motion for a follow-up film that would bring Ash into the fold. But sadly, due to creative differences between New Line Cinema and Bruce Campbell, the film was scrapped. But fear not, the comic series delivered what the movie couldn't. It's a horror fan's dream, or should I say nightmare. For collectors out there, this series is a must-have. From NECA toys to McFarlane figures, there's a treasure trove of horror memorabilia inspired by this crossover. Imagine having Freddy, Jason, and Ash duking it out on your shelf. So, if you're a fan of A Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, or the Evil Dead franchise, this comic series is a blood-soaked gem you need to check out. It's a brutal, thrilling ride that pays homage to all three iconic horror universes. Alright, that's it for today's deep dive into Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more horror content. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think would win in this monstrous showdown? Thanks for watching, and remember, whatever you do, don't fall asleep. Until next time, stay spooky.